in this next set of examples, we're asked to factor out the GCF. So this makes a few assumptions. First, that you know how to find what the GCF is. Okay? So let's take a look at this binomial here. All right, we've got two terms, and we're going to factor out the greatest common factor. That is the biggest thing that they happen to have in common. Well, what I'm first going to look at is my coefficients. I have a 3 and I have a 12. So 3 and 12. All right, I can pull out a 3 because 3 goes into 3 and 3 goes into 12. So I'm going to write a 3 off here to the side. And then the next part that I have are the x's, and this one has 6 of them, x to the 6th power, and this one has 4, x to the 4th power. So the most that anyone can give up is 4. So my GCF will be 3x to the 4th. Now by factoring out the greatest common factor, what we need to do is write it as a product, okay, of two factors, one of them being the GCF, which is this right here. So if I have 3x to the 4th, then I'm going to do a little bit of backwards work, if you will. It's division, basically. 3x to the 4th times what gives me 3x to the 6th? Well, it's got the 3, it's got x to the 4th. What is it missing? X to the 6th. How many more x's will get me to 6? Well, 2 more. So x squared, okay? Now, I'm going to check. Okay, well, this is positive, so this is also positive. So plus, all right, 3 times what is 12? Well, that's pretty simple. That's 4. All right, and let's see here. X to the 4th, x to the 4th. We're good on x's, so we're basically done. So we factored out the GCF, and this is what it looks like. This would be our answer right here. All right? But what I'm going to do is just demonstrate that you can work backwards to check your answer. So let me just do some division. Some distribution. Just distribute right back in. Now you don't have to necessarily do this, but if you'd like to check your answer, you can. 3x to the 4th times x squared gives me 3x to the 6th, and 3x to the 4th times 4 gives me 12x to the 4th. So this is what we started off with and what we get when we do the distribution through GCF. Alright, so pretty easy. So let's take a look at the next couple of examples here, and we should see how it works relatively the same. Alright, now here we've got a trinomial. Now, for all intents and purposes, all we're doing here is just factoring out the GCF. There's a slightly more advanced technique to factoring something that looks like this. But we're not going to get into that just yet. We're building up to that. First, we need to know how to do GCF. So let's look. 4, 4, and negative 20. Well, I know that 4 goes into all of these. So I'm going to factor out right away a 4. So I'm going to factor out the 4 here. Alright? And now, let's see here. X squared and x. No, nothing with the x's. So just 4 for now. So we're going to have a 4 there. Now I'm going to ask myself, 4 times what gives me 4x squared? Well, that's pretty straightforward. Just an x squared. When I do the distribution again, I get 4x squared. 4 times what gives me 4x? Well, again, that's pretty straightforward. Just an x. And then 4 times what gives me a negative 20? Well, that happens to be a negative 5. So there it is. When you do the distribution once again, you should see 4 times x squared, 4x squared, 4 times x, 4x, so plus 4x, and 4 times negative 5, negative 20. So we have that there. Now here's one that's slightly a bit larger, just longer. It's a polynomial. This one has 4 terms. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it down here at the bottom. Let me move my paper up. So I have 3x to the 8th minus 30x to the 6th plus 15x to the 5th plus 18x cubed. Alright, 3, 30, 15, and 18. What do I know? They're all multiples of 3, all divisible by 3. So 3 is going to be part of my greatest common factor. Now I have x to the 8th and x to the 6th, x to the 5th and x to the 3rd. The greatest number that I can give up is how many? Take a guess. If you said x cubed, then you're correct. That is the least I can give up, and in this case makes that the greatest common factor. Okay, so let's write that out. 3x cubed. Hopefully that looks like x cubed to you. Okay, so I pulled out 3x cubed, then 3x cubed times what gives me 3x to the 8th. Well, I've got the 3, I've got x cubed, I'm missing 5 more of these x's. So x to the 5th, because 3 plus 5 is 8. Now I've got 3 times what is negative 30? Well, that's simple, negative 10. Now I've got 3 x's again, and I'm missing 3 more, so that means minus 10 x cubed. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 times what is 15? Well, 3 times a positive 5. So plus 5. And I have 5 x's there, x to the 5th, and here x cubed, so I need 2 more. So x squared, since 3 plus 2 is 5. Now, the last part is positive again, because this is positive and this is positive. 3 times a positive 6 will give me that 18. And x cubed and x cubed, that checks off, so I'm good there. I don't need any more x's. So factoring out the GCF in this case being 3x cubed, and this right here is my polynomial factored by using the GCF, by factoring out the GCF. So best of luck with the rest of your problems on your assignment. We'll see you later.